Welcome to The Spotlight, the podcast where veterans and military spouses connect and share how their military experience has transformed their lives and their businesses. Here's your host, Bob Louthan.
Hey, this is your host, Bob Louthan, founder of the VeteranCrowd Network, the network that brings veterans and veteran-led businesses together with each other and the resources they need to prosper. And you are tuning into The Spotlight. Well, hey, everybody, this is your host, Bob Louthan. Welcome to The Spotlight on the VeteranCrowd Network. Today, my guest is Charlie Moyer. He is the founder and CEO of Badass Beard Care. And if you could see him, you could see he's got a beard to go with it. You get on here on the YouTube channel. Charlie, welcome to the program. Thank you for stepping into the spotlight.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
Now, let's hear the story. I mean, how did this business idea come about? All of a sudden, you're a pretty substantial business, helping people get their beards under control. You might even be able to get me to show, the picture of me, and folks will come to the YouTube channel. They can see my vain attempt at trying to have a beard last year during COVID.
Yeah, I think it looked great. Your hair needed some work. Your beard was on point.
Yeah, that was a bad hair day on a Saturday morning, but I think that picture is priceless.
Yeah, that was a great picture. Keep that forever.
Yeah. Well, how did this come about?
It wasn't expected. I was medically retired in October of 2014, but I had terminal leave. And so I was going to school while I was on terminal leave, and I was starting to grow up my beard. And I planned on joining the local sheriff's department. I had a job offer from the sheriff's department and an academy start date. But unfortunately, I got involuntarily extended in my service with the Coast Guard. A few months passed when the start date of the academy was going to happen. And so I continued to go to school full time, and I started just making these products on the side. It was just a hobby to make it for myself at first. But as the prospect of the Sheriff's Academy was further and further out, it was about 6 months away, I decided that, maybe it would help bring in a little bit of extra cash flow. So I was making products just for myself, and then I was taking them to school, and there was people at school, like other veterans that were growing their beards out. They were asking to buy it. And pretty soon, within just a couple of weeks, I was, getting phone calls from people asking to buy my products, and they wanted me to drive back to school to deliver it. And I didn't want to have to go back to school on the days that I didn't have to be there. So I decided just to put it online, and I told people they could just go online and buy it, and I would mail it to them because it'd be easier for me. That way I don't have to drive all over delivering a $15 beer load. But when I set up the website, the guy that was helping me set it up on GoDaddy at the time, he was actually my very first customer. He loved the idea of the product so much that as soon as he helped me set the website up, he was my very first order. And I think it was within the first couple of days, I put it on Instagram and Facebook. Instagram was the big one at first. And what I had done was, when I was making the products for myself, I was making these little tiny, like tester size products that I was giving to my friends and getting feedback on, so I could try to make it not just so it worked for me, but I wanted to make sure that I got good feedback across the board. And I took a picture of one of those little testers and I put it on Instagram. I said that, hey, I'd be willing to mail you a tester if you cover the cost of shipping. I'll send you one for free. Just let me know what you think of the product. And overnight, orders started rolling in for the free samples. And then I think it was a week after that, so I was only 3 weeks into even making these products, I got an email from the producers of Sons of Anarchy, which is a motorcycle TV show. Its final season was in 2014, which is when I started the company. And they said they liked my product, they liked the image of my company, that I was veteran owned, and they thought it was really in line with their show. And they wanted to know if I'd be willing to come to Los Angeles and give their cast members some of my product and kind of sponsor their series finale cast party in LA with the stars there.
That's a great story. But let's step back for a second.
Yeah.
I mean, when I grew my beard, I mean, the stuff that comes out of your face is not like what comes out of the top of your head, right?
Correct.
I mean, and it's a little bit of a crapshoot, but it's a different kind of hair.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it is much different.
And you can't just comb it
No,
and control it. What's going
no.
on with it? What's going on with our faces, man?
So your face produces less oil than your scalp does. So your scalp will actually give your hair enough oils and everything to be this natural, soft, and normal self. With your face, especially if you're shaving all the time, your skin's not producing those same amounts of oils. So the hair that comes out is much more brittle. It's much harder, and the hair follicles themselves are different. It's a more protective type of hair. So if you try to use a comb without any type of product in it, because it's more curly and it's tougher and more textured, you try to run a comb through it, and it's just going to pull hair out. And a lot of people are like, oh, whatever, I'll deal with that. But they don't realize that when you pull a hair out, it can take up to 6 months for that hair to even start to regrow. And so while it looks really full when it's shorter, as it starts to get longer, it starts to look much thinner. And so like, oh, well, my hair is just growing thin. I don't look good in the beard. I'm going to chop it off. So our products really help to make it so that your hair doesn't tangle. You can comb right through it without snagging or pulling anything. The products make your hair softer, more manageable, make them smell good and look good. So it's kind of an all-in-one type of product base that keeps your beard under control and looking good.
All right, now back to the Sons of Anarchy,
Yeah.
the motorcycle gang. What happened when you went down there? I'm just kind of curious.
Well, I didn't know what to expect. I honestly had no idea, but I love the show. I'm a big motorcycle enthusiast, and
You drive a Harley?
I do. Yeah,
There you go. Okay.
I've got a 1964 Harley Panhead. I've got a new Indian Challenger that I rode out to Sturgis. So yeah, I'm all about motorcycles, and I jumped up the opportunity to go out there and meet the cast. Like I said, I didn't know what to expect, but I knew it'd be really cool to promote that I was going there on social media. So when I got out there, I realized it was kind of set up a little table, and the cast members started walking around to the different sponsors and saying hi and stuff like that. And I didn't want to sell my product, to these cast members. It's not why I was there. I was there to kind of number one, have fun and meet these people, but number two, I wanted to create something recognizable with my brand. And so what I decided to do was take advantage of the fact that I had these celebrities in front of me. I asked them if they wouldn't mind autographing all the product that I brought. So instead of giving the product to them, because most of them didn't have beards anyways, instead of giving the product to them, I asked them to autograph it, and we auctioned it off for veterans charity. So within a month of me starting the company, we auctioned all those off, and we raised, I think it was close to $5,000. We donated that to Mission 22 for veteran suicide awareness. So that was really cool. It was really unexpected, and the act of goodwill of doing that for donations generated a lot of buzz about the company and got people talking about the company. And we created a lot of brand loyalty with our initial set of consumers.
It's amazing little story, in the beginning there, one of the little things that kind of happened to make you a success. Now, you're an Entrepreneur Magazine as an example, an article talking about your journey there, some interesting lessons there. How's the business doing now? What's, are you surprised?
Yes, I was initially very surprised. It was when I came back from the Sons of Anarchy thing, on the drive back, it was an 8-hour drive back, and the orders were rolling in so fast, I didn't know how I was going to possibly be able to make that much product to keep up. So I got back and I started filling orders, and I assumed that it was just, here's this really big ramp up because of the social media exposure, and it was going to kind of drop back down, back to where I started. But December, the numbers kept rolling through even bigger. I had to hire my first employee. I had my mom helping me pack orders. I had my brother-in-law help me mix oils in the kitchen. I had my wife at the time that was helping me print orders out and get shipping labels. So it's kind of an all hands on deck type of thing to make sure that we were keeping up. But still, even through December, I thought it was a fluke. Like someone must have mentioned me somewhere. They got me some exposure that I don't know about. Where are these orders coming from? But then they never stopped. So that first year was really like a rocket ship. We did about $1.5 million in sales in the first 12 months. So it was just really, really crazy explosive growth. And then the following year, again, it didn't dip down. We still increased in size. That second year, We did like 2.5 million. And then every year since then, we've grown between 10 and 25%.
Where are all of your products available now? You're still online? Have you got retail operations as well?
We are in probably 20 or 30 different barbershops across the country. After COVID, it got kind of weird. Wholesale essentially shut down in March of 2020 because barbershops were one of the hardest hit, and they didn't want to invest in a product that was just going to sit on the shelf if their barbershop was sitting closed. So the retail side of 2020 just tanked. The e-commerce exploded. Everyone was shopping online for themselves. So retail side went down, or direct consumer side went up. And this year, our retail side is starting to pick up again. So yeah, I'd say currently 20 to 30 barbershops. We're in a couple of natural food stores. There's one in Seattle. There's one in Placerville here in California. And I think we're one in New Jersey as well.
Right.
And then we're in talks with some larger retailers to get into there. But I would prefer not to go into the big box stores like Target or Walmart or places like that. I feel like those stores, while it brings you some volume and some exposure, it kind of associates your brand with a cheaper type of product. Yeah. And I've noticed that they just don't sell. I have a close eye on the retail shelves of these big box stores to see what type of beard products are starting to be sold and how they do. And it seems like more often than not, they sit there for a while and they end up getting clearanced out, and they bring in another brand trying to get to sell. So yeah, for now, direct consumer and our own smaller wholesale accounts, I think is where we're going to focus.
Honor, duty, service. At the Veteran Crowd Network, we're focused on our next mission, bringing veterans, veteran-operated businesses, and veteran service organizations together with each other and the resources they need to prosper. That's why we are launching the Veteran Crowd Rewards Program, exclusively for our individual and corporate members. Now you can save on travel, restaurants, goods, and services from brands you trust online and at over 900,000 locations nationwide. Find out more today at VeteranCrowdNetwork.com. If you are a veteran-operated business, or a VSO, consider the connections, the network, the benefits, the engagement, and success of working with other veterans again. The Veteran Crowd Network, you paid a lot of dues to join this club.
Our guest is Charlie Moyer. He's the founder and CEO of Badass Beard Care. Hey, Charlie, let's go back and talk a little bit about your military experience.
Yeah.
You know, in the Coast Guard. We've had some Coast Guard veterans on the program before. It's a different branch of the service.
It is.
But you know, how did you wind up getting into the Coast Guard?
It's a funny story, actually. I had really bad grades in high school, so I knew that I wasn't getting any kind of college scholarship or anything like that. And I saw the path my friends were going on, and it was not a path that I wanted to follow. So I decided that, a military branch would probably be my best option in order to pay for school as soon as I got out. I didn't know which branch I wanted to go into. And honestly, I'd never even heard of the Coast Guard at the time. But when I was 16, I went to San Diego. My mom went down there for a conference. She was like a Mary Kay consultant. And the Mary Kay convention put us up in this nice hotel. And so here I am, 16 years old, and I'm playing pool down in the hotel lobby. And these two guys are playing pool with these two girls. And I'm a 16-year-old guy, and I noticed that these women are very attractive. And so I'm kind of jealous of these guys that are, flirting with these girls. But I'm listening to their conversation, and they're just spinning this story about how they have this top secret clearance, and they're not allowed to tell them what they do, but they're in the Coast Guard. They're here on this giant ship. They got them here for a week. And just spinning this big story. And so the girls left. They said they're going to get ready for the night and come back down and meet them. So as soon as the girls walked away, I was like, so what's the Coast Guard? What's this all about? You guys have secret clearance? Like, what are you talking about? And they admitted, like, no, they're just kind of spinning the story.
Making it up. Huh?
Yeah, but they were operations specialists, so they did have a secret security clearance for the Coast Guard. They were stationed on a cutter, and the cutter was in that port in San Diego. And I was like, so, do you guys have to pay for this hotel out of pocket? Because at the time, it was the nicest hotel that I'd ever stayed in. It was like the Hilton in San Diego, and I'm used to, Best Westerns and Motel
Right.
So to me, it was in a very luxurious hotel in a very nice city. And these guys were like, no, the Coast Guard pays for the hotel while we're here. They pay for our food. They pay for our lodging for back home. They give us a good paycheck, and they're paying for our college as soon as we get out. And I was like, man, that really sounds like a good gig. And I asked them, I was like, well, where can you get stationed? And they said, well, generally you're always going to get stationed, on a beach somewhere. And so no matter where you go, as much as you want to hate it, it's kind of hard to really truly hate any one of the assignments that you get in the Coast Guard, as long as you like.
Yeah, you want to go to bad spots, you join the Army.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
we've got all the armpit locations as far as
Yeah, or the Marines. The reason why I said Marines and machine gunner, my brother-in-law is or was a Marine machine gunner with 331, and he was stationed in 29 Palms. I went out there and visited him there a few times. And if you want to hate a station, that's probably the one to hate. that place is miserable.
How do you think your experience in the Coast Guard has helped make you a better business person?
Like I said, structure, I think, is a big part of it. I wasn't very structured. I didn't have much of a structured family life growing up. And so that was a big challenge of mine. That's why I didn't do very well in high school, because I was smart enough and I got good grades on tests and stuff, but I didn't complete hardly any of my homework. I just didn't try very hard because I didn't have the structure behind me to kind of keep me in line there. So I think that getting into the Coast Guard and giving me that structure, that discipline to keep myself focused and on track was a huge benefit and really helps in my success with business. I think also the ability to kind of jump from task to task in the Coast Guard and be very adaptable. I think that has helped a lot. Going into e-commerce, it's not like I took business classes or e-commerce classes or entrepreneurship classes, or even classes on how to make products or consumer packaged goods. I had no experience. So it was kind of just adapting to this type of work and, mastering it and then excelling. And I think that my experience in the Coast Guard, because the roles there are so varied. I was a gunner's mate, but my first duty station, I was a small arms instructor at the range, and I was a machine gun trainer on our small boat platforms. And then I was a firearms simulator programmer. So I created some of the virtual simulations once we started getting away from live fire and more towards simulating the training. They put me on that, and again, I had no training, no experience, but nobody did. It was a brand new platform, so kind of got thrown into that and started learning how to do that and mastering that. And then I immediately went into being independent duty, which means I was the only gunner's mate on my ship. And I was also the lead boarding officer with no prior law enforcement experience. And suddenly I'm in this role in Key West, Florida, doing all these drug busts and migrant busts and 21 years old with no other experience behind me, now taking on that role. And I went from that role to an admin type of role where I'm making sure that all of our reservists have all their training up to date and that they're going to their ranges, that they have everything they need. And then when they get recalled, I'm recalling them and making sure that they're, they have everything they need in order to go complete the mission. So it's just kind of everywhere. And being adaptable really helped. But then also, I think for the e-commerce side, the last role that I had with the admin, that helped me with learning different computer softwares I never worked with before, especially Excel, which I use all the time in business, and Word programs and email programs and other programs that otherwise I would not have had any experience in.
I think a lot of people come out of the military say, the military gave me failure, and I learned how to process that and accept it. Has that been a helpful lesson with you? I mean, you must have had some things you tried that just didn't work as you were growing the business.
Yes and no. So badass beard care in itself, there hasn't been many failures with it. I've been very, very fortunate, and I wouldn't say this all due to me just running it like, I'm an exceptional business owner or leader or anything like that. I think a lot of it has been luck. A lot of it's been just determination and not trying to give up. But we have a hardcore fan base as well. It doesn't matter what product we come out with, as long as I'm
Got
testing
a lot
the
of
product.
repeat customers that just coming
Oh,
back more and more.
yeah. So, we're 7 years in now, and our repeat purchase rate is 60%. So
Mhm.
60% of our orders are repeat purchases. So we see just a hardcore customer base that loves our products. The big thing is I'll have a lot of failures when I'm first trying to make a product, but I'll go through 120 different versions of a product I'm trying to make until it gets to something that I'm totally in love with. And once I find something that just blows me away, I would be willing to buy it myself. That's when I actually launch it as a product. So there's a lot of businesses out there, especially in businesses like mine, where the cost to entry to that business is very, very low. Someone can just go and they can buy some mass-made oil out of China or out of some wholesale company online, where they're buying a drum of oil for pennies on the dollar. But that's what you're getting. It's not like these people have tested the product or know anything about it. They're just buying something and then reselling it at the markup, and they'll get that initial purchase because maybe their marketing's okay, but they don't have much repeat purchase rate. And there's a lot of people that get turned off of these types of products because of that negative first experience. So I think that the failures that I've learned from have been failures that I've kept private. I've worked on these products in private to make sure that it gets to the point. And I'll go through like hundreds of failures, literally hundreds of failures, until I get to a product that I think is ready for the market.
Sound a little bit like Thomas Edison here, creating the light bulb, right?
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah. Well, actually, in my office, I'm sorry I don't have it here to show you at home, but in my office at the shop, I have the very first paper. It was just a white sheet of paper that I wrote on a pen, and I would list out the formula that I was trying to make. And here's what I'm testing. And then I'd cross out a couple things and like, oh, this didn't work. Let me try something else. And so I'd repeat the formula, but I'd change one ingredient or add an ingredient or take something away. And I'd do it again, and I'd do it again, and I'd do it again. I have this white piece of paper, and it has 50 or 60 different formulations on it. And of those 50 and 60 different formulations, I have ones that have been crossed out where I tried doing the exact same formula, but maybe tweaking it by 5% of a specific ingredient. And so there's that one sheet shows a process of over 100 different versions of my very first beard oil that I tried to make.
interesting stuff. So, last kind of question.
Yeah.
It's amazing how fast 20 minutes can go by when we're chatting
Oh,
about
you're
this
good.
stuff. The last question is, if you could go back 7 years today and give Charlie Moyer, who's getting ready to start Badass Beard Care, one piece of advice, what might that be at this point? If you just go back, and it can't be like buy Apple stock,
No, I would say trust my gut. There's been a lot of instances where I was told I would, either by competitors or by family or by friends, that what I was doing was going to lead to failure, or that it was wrong in some way, or that something that I was doing, whether it be a product or a process or a thought, was wrong and was going to lead to catastrophe. And a lot of those, most of them, I stuck to my gut, and the company was very successful because of that. If I had listened to them, I have family tell me that beard oil would be a nice hobby, but that I should really try to think of what I want to do with my life. Yeah. So even as the company was growing and I was hiring my first employees, people were like, well, why do you be cautious? Maybe you shouldn't hire employees. Maybe you should just tone this down a little bit and focus on something that's really going to do something in your life.
Charlie, that is great advice. I gotta tell you, stick to your guns.
Yeah.
Go with your gut.
Yeah.
And the people that are closest to you are going to be the ones that are going to have the biggest doubts and sow the seeds of those doubts for you.
Yeah. It was funny, is for the first 5 years, our only ad was for that free sample, that same picture that I took. We didn't advertise anything else. We didn't advertise full-size products. I didn't advertise anything except for a free sample. And my competitors would say, you're devaluing your product. You're getting people used to getting your product for free. They'll never want to spend money on your product. But then, and I kind of took that to heart a little bit first, and I was like, are they right? Am I just kind of throwing money away here. And I had friends and family and even people who were working for me saying the same thing, like, why do you keep giving away all this product? But then I saw my competitors start getting desperate. They started putting out ads nearly every week, 25% off their products, buy one, get one free, half off products. And I never ran any sales. And my company continued to grow, and I continued to get more and more customers that absolutely loved my product and came back. And like I said, I have that 60% repeat purchase rate. And so I realized that my competitors were wrong. I wasn't devaluing my product by offering a free sample. I was showing that I was willing to put my money where my mouth was. Right. Here's a good product. I'm not going to run these giant sales, but I'll let you try it for free. And if it's not better than what you're currently using, that they're selling for half off, then keep using what you're buying for half off. But if you like my product better, this is where you can find it. And those competitors are now out of business, and our business continues to grow.
Hey, Charlie, how does everybody get in touch with Badass Beard Care?
You can find us on all the major social media platforms. So you can message us at Facebook. You can message us on Instagram. You can send us an email, sales@badassbeardcare.com. And we also have a live chat feature on our website Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 4 p.m.
Okay, we'll put links to all of that on the show notes for this. Hey, we have been talking with Charlie Moyer. He is the founder and CEO of Badass Beard Care, a veteran of the United States Coast Guard. Hey, thanks for what you've done. Thanks for appearing on the program. I really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, no, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for having me on. It's been fun.
Hey, you've been listening to the Spotlight on the VeteranCrowd Network. Really pleased to have had Charlie on the show today. Charlie, I'm going to throw out an Army Bravo Zulu to you for your performance today. Thanks for being a guest on the program, and that's a wrap.
Thank you for listening to Spotlight by VeteranCrowd. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. For more information and uploads, please visit our website at VeteranCrowdNetwork.com. We'll see you next time.